Welcome back, community groups, and thank you for joining us and just participating in some of these questions just to make the sermon go deeper. Mm-hmm. And so, Danielle, thank you for your word this morning. It was encouraging, and you exhorted us on quite a few things. So why don't I hand it over to you?
Yeah, so in your groups now, we just encourage you to take some time to read through the passage that we spoke about on Sunday, coming from Mark chapter 6, verses 53 to 56. As some groups are already doing, we also just encourage you to take a look at it through a few different translations.
Okay, so we really want to have an honest conversation this morning. Mm-hmm. I know that sometimes we can have these kind of Jesus, God, love, Sunday school answers, but I just want us to just pare it down, just take a couple minutes to really think about this. So there has been this podcast that both Danielle and I have really enjoyed listening to. Her name is Emma Stark. She is this amazing Scottish woman, actually Welsh, but she lives in Scotland, and she's fire. And one of her big things is that everywhere you go, you're on assignment. And so, Danielle, you spoke on the marketplace this morning, and you had a further thought about that. So,
Yeah, I just thought it was really interesting how the disciples themselves, they knew that the disciples and Jesus knew that ministry wasn't just going to take place in the synagogues on a certain day of the week. It was for the marketplace. It was for where people congregated. Ministry didn't have a time when it ended during the day. It was 24/7. So I encourage you just to take some time in your groups to discuss that idea of the marketplace, of where are you on divine assignment? Where is it that you can be ministering to? Who are the people that God has placed in your life specifically for purpose or a reason that that perhaps they don't know who Jesus is. So take some time to discuss that, and we'll be back here in a few minutes.
Awesome. So in verse 54, it says that as Jesus got out of the boat, that people recognized him. And as Danielle mentioned, they didn't have text messages. But you know what else they didn't have? They didn't have access to medical care the way we do. Mm-hmm. We can just Google. We can go and get vitamins at health food stores. They literally, if someone was sick, a lot of the time you just watch them perish. And so there's this massive buzzword about this man Jesus that was going and doing really miraculous things.
Totally.
People are blind, lame. It wasn't just, I had a cough and it didn't anymore. Yeah. These were radically life-changing events. And so he hit the land and these guys were running. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was really cool how you brought into effect that it wasn't just a singular movement. They wanted everyone, their friends, their family.
Yeah. That is something that struck me too, that they took compassion on their neighbors and their people in their family. They wanted to see the whole community come for healing and deliverance. And again, coming back to that verb sozo that we mentioned on Sunday morning, healing in this sense wasn't just for their physical ailments, but it was also healing for their souls. Mm-hmm. And so we just encourage you now, just take some time to unpack that idea of sozo, of healing for your soul, of healing for your body, and also discuss that idea of how are we bringing our friends towards Jesus, friends that are either soul sick or physically ill. What does it look like to bring those eagerly with expectation and anticipation of how Jesus will move towards the Father like that? So take a few minutes to unpack that, and we'll be back here in a moment with you.
So while we were just off camera chatting here, one of the things that we kind of landed on as we were thinking about what Danielle was speaking about is this expectation. Are we really expecting things? Or are we just completely distracted nowadays? And we just get stuck in sort of the wheel, the cogs of life. Mm-hmm. And we're just not on bated breath, right? And so I was saying I have the story. So this last week, Joel and I went away. And so we had 6.5 hours in the car. And one of the things that we wanted to do when we were away is just to kind of regroup and think about some of the ways that we're spending our time. And so one of the things that we landed on is, and he had talked about this a few weeks ago in his sermon about, are you spending as much time online as you are kind of in the Word? What's your balance like? And so we were kind of had that percolating in the back of our mind. And we took some time. And where we landed was my phone now, I have an hour for anything, emails, texting, podcasts, anything. And once that hour's up, my phone it just powers down. Wow. And because I realized that there was a kind of inordinate amount of time being distracted. And I'm cognizant of it too, right? We all hold these tensions. And so being on bated breath, like, we just don't want to come to these like regurgitated answers. So how are you managing some of the distractions right now? There's a lot of dissonance out there. A lot of us are carrying a lot of stress watching the news.
Yeah.
I think what an awesome practical thing to do right now would be like hash out some of the, like, let's be truthful. How are you spending your time? Like, how are you spending your time? Are you on bated breath? Are you... Yeah.
Are you living in that hope or that expectancy that God is on the throne? He is willing and he wants to move and he wants to come in and come and have encounters with you. Like as Jody said, spend some time now just hashing out some things that maybe are distracting you from that or distracting you from Jesus himself. And then we'll come back here for a last wrap up.
So thank you again, Danielle, just for just taking us deeper into the Word, giving us more context around some of these places where the disciples landed. That was really cool. Yeah, give me like a picture of it. Why don't you close us out here?
Thanks, Jody. Yeah, that was my honor. So for the remainder of your time together, we just encourage you to spend some time praying for one another. Just create space for that. As well, we would hope that you feel comfortable in your groups to share prayer requests. But if for some reason you don't, we do have a prayer team available and you are welcome to send email requests into them. It is kept anonymous within the team. And further to that too, always feel free to email either Joel or myself. We'd love to get in touch with you there as well. And don't forget, as you are praying, that we can pray to the King with expectancy and anticipation that he will move, for he is on the throne and he holds all things together. So thanks everyone again for joining us tonight, and we hope you had an awesome conversation. Bye.